everyone, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Brandon.
And this is Fish or Price Ranch. Hey, happy boy. Hi, Blaze. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Sarah with Fish or Price Ranch. First off, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. So we're back on fencing. You can see how big of a hill we have. This will be our last row of fence on this major steep hill that we're putting up. So this is, I'll show you guys a photo, but basically we started from the house and we went down the hill to the end of our property line, and then we came across over here. You can see the fence line down there. And it goes all the way to the end of our new property line, and then it goes up the hill to the doe pen. And then we're cutting in a little bit from the doe pen so that way it's not too close. We don't want the bucks. This is going to be the new buck pen here. We don't want them too close, so we're bringing the fence line back a little bit. I'll show you guys that when we get back up there. But this is the cross fencing from the buck pen on this side, and then the third technical pasture for the does will be all of this and everything up around by our shed and things like that. So anyway, this is our cross fence that we're working on. Once we get it tight up the hill, then we'll just be working up top to finish the last little cross fencing by the shed. And yeah, we'll be done with our fencing forever on this property. All right, so we got the fencing. The last part of the video we were down in the trees down there. So the fencing is right where Josh is. Josh and Crystal came to help. And so now we're just bringing the fence up to this corner. We're going to go around our shed to right here. And then we're going to take it to there. And then we are going to go along here. And this will be the new buck pen. But then we're also going to, because we have a little extra fence, go from this corner to right there and put a gate. And this will give us a small pen along the way, that if we needed an extra pen, then we have it. And it will go all the way to our new property line, which you can see right there at that corner right there and that side. So we still have to pull the old wood from their old housing from down there. So once we already got some of it taken down. The big buck house we had to push down, so we're gonna have to pry all the screws out of it, and then we can load that all up, and then we're officially no longer on that property. And then we can enclose the last part of the perimeter, so that way this is all fully enclosed. But that's kind of what we're working with. So we're hoping to get at least the buck pen done today, and then maybe we can go get all the wood and be done off of that side of the property today. Okay, so we had from here to there to about here, and then this is just a guesstimation. Basically like that. Alright, so basically that was our 70 acres. So now, obviously I didn't have the full amount. You could see up here at the top. You can see up here at the top the amount of acreage. So obviously I don't have the exact amount here, but anyway, so we're gonna erase all those. So now we're gonna utilize those 2 points, and this is basically our new corner, and then it goes across to about here. And then those are our fence points right now. So then we are basically going to go across to, there's water in this portion right here. And so we want to utilize keeping that. But then we aren't sure if we're going to have to bring the fence line up here. But we're going to make sure that the fence is on the right side of the water so we keep the water on our property. But this last circle here will rotate, change, move depending on what it's going to take to make this. And then we'll have that one will go all the way to the corner itself. And then you can see at the top again for the acreage. So basically this line here will have to move, you know, down and over and adjust. I guess it have to go up and over. And then this one here will have to go. But basically that's kind of our idea as far as our new fence line is. It's just going to, so there's 20 acres. So basically that's gonna be what our new perimeter looks like. All right, so if we look at where we're at right now, so we're basically going to show you guys. So this fence line that you see is already there. We've now put in a new fence line, which is the one that we've been kind of showing you. And it basically goes from, so the back side, this far left side, and then it goes to about here, and that's connecting to the fence that's already there that goes to about there, and then it goes straight across. So that's currently our pen now, and so it's about 10 acres. And then what we did was we have our houses here, and so we fenced roughly like that. And then the rabbits are back here. And then what we did is basically right along these trees, there's a fence that goes like this and then goes like that. And then we basically have that small pen that you guys normally see. And then there's a fence that goes like that. So the chickens are right here. And then the girls, you know, go from this pen. This is their second pasture. And then we have the big pasture with the pond. And then what we did over here was on the left side is we just fenced all of this. And then what we did is our shed is about right here. We fenced to about halfway where it goes like that. And then we went like this. So this is the new buck pen. And then we went ahead and put a fence across here. So we actually have this little pen if we need it. And then all of the rest of that is open ground. Let me change colors here. All of this here is all open. And this is now another pasture that we can use for the girls, you know, around the shed and all of the back area. So that's kind of how it looks. Hopefully that's not too confusing, but that's kind of what we've done. All right, you guys, well, we're finally at the corner of our new buck pen. We have it all fenced now. And now the only thing we have left is we still have to go get the wood from over the hill from their old housing. And then we can finish the fence from that corner to that corner. We're gonna make this section a small pen. And at the other end of the buck pen, we're gonna close it off. I'll show you guys that. But we found one problem. And that's this little dip right here in the grass. I'm not going to get much closer, but I will film. Show you guys, we have a huge nest, you saw that one, of ground bees. And they're extremely active. We watch bee removals a lot. And so we know with this much activity that it is a very large nest, large colony. So we're going to have to find somebody to remove these bees because they're so big. And I noticed them when we were doing the fencing, what, about 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And that's when it was warmer, and they were like constant in and out. I mean, they still are. You can see them in there, constantly moving in and out right there. And so we don't want, we've already had a goat get stung. We can't put the bucks and dogs in here with them this active, even as cold as it is. So we have to get them removed. So we're going to find somebody who's willing to come out and do that. We thought, you know, we would just spray the entrance with some bee spray, wasp spray to kill them, because they're not honeybees. And they're wasps that can sting back and, you know, as many times as they want. It's not going to kill them like a honeybee. So, but with as active as it is, we know it's huge. And we don't even want to mess with it and piss them off and get stung ourselves. So unfortunately, we are going to have that done before we can move the animals into this pen. But at least it is finished. Well, there's the last pieces. We finally got all the old buck pen and the housing picked up. So we're officially done off of the 50 acres. And now we can finish the last bit of fencing to close in our new section. All right, you guys, well, we got it all done as far as fencing goes. So I'll just explain, I know you guys saw me explain kind of our new perimeter, but basically you can see the fence line right down here. And then it goes to the trees and up the hill. There's the house. Rabbits are behind the house. Fencing goes down. We're doing a burn today. Down into the trees back here, and the corner is like way down at the bottom. And then we brought the fencing up right behind the shed, like we said, brought it over into there. But then we enclosed this little section here, put a gate on it. So now this is a small pen that we can utilize that goes just over the hill and to the other corner over there and across. So that is, oops. So that's a new little pen that we can utilize if we need to move goats around or anything. We have the small pen here that's, I don't know, half an acre. And then we have the chute. If you go through this gate, you see the dogs over there, but they're on the big pasture that goes all the way down and across to the other side. You can see the fence line over there, way over there. So yeah, and then basically we have this gate open right now. The girls are currently in there, but all the gates are open. They can come out here, and they have to this fence line, and then it goes down. But they have all of this, 280 feet. Yeah, 280 feet from the back of the shed down to the very bottom. But basically I have all this in front of the shed, on the other side of his truck to the fence line right there, which is our yard. And then all of that back there, that huge back corner. So they'll be able to come out here and eat, but we're cleaning up all this old wood. Some of this is from their old house that was all rotted. So we're just going to do a burn and clean all this stuff up. And then we pulled some things out of the other pen, the extra fencing, things like that. So we're going to get all this cleaned up, and because they'll be out here. So we want to make sure that they don't get into something they're not supposed to. But otherwise, it is finished. We moved the mineral buffet, the small one, in here because currently the bucks are living their best life out here. They can go all the way over there and see their goats through the fence. And Blaze is with them. He protects the chickens. Huh, Blaze? What you looking at? Oh, you're looking at Yandu. Hi, Yandu. But yeah, Blaze is in there. He currently protects the bucks and all the chickens, and he's doing a fantastic job. And then currently, normally our other boy dogs, Hulk and Thor, are with their bucks, but because of where we have to put the bucks, I can't, because Blaze is intact and Thor is intact, and so they'll kill each other basically. So currently they get to run on that huge pasture way down here and up the side, and then Storm, of course, is in this small pen with her girls. But once we get rid of the bees, which a friend of ours told us how we can get rid of them, basically we're going to put some flea and tick frontline for dogs. Put 5 drops with a little bit of meat and put it in a cat carrier so no animals can get to it. Put it by their pen and they'll take it into the nest and eat it, and that will kill off the entire swarm within a couple days. So that's what we're gonna try. But anyway, once we get rid of the bees, then we can move the boy dogs and the bucks into their new enclosure. And then we just have to build their house, which is going to be on top of the hill, so it's across from the girls, which we haven't done that yet. We got all the material over there, but that's the last thing that we have to do. So anyway, that is officially fence done. All right, you guys, we're officially done with fencing. We're so excited about that, at least for this property. Obviously, when we go to move, we do still plan to move because, you know, this just... the way that we had set up for this property was for the 70 acres so we could utilize it. But because now we've are confined down to 20 acres and where we didn't want to lose what we were already set up on, it doesn't really leave us with a lot of flat land that we want to do all the stuff that we wanted to do on it. Most of our land now is hillsides and things like that, which is great for livestock and great for somebody who wants to... doesn't need a lot of yard space for their own, but has livestock and stuff. It's perfect for that. But for everything that we wanted to do, it doesn't work for us. So we will still try and sell in the spring and move. But we do want to get something that's a little bit more flat, a little easier to do everything that we wanted to do. So that's still the plan. Hopefully things go well for us in the spring when we're ready to sell. And so, yeah, that's basically what's going on with the yard, the property. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.